I took notes. Where are the notes? Where are the notes? Go away, go away! Go away, you frightened me.
Good.
Alright, so... Stop it. Tonight we dine on turtle soup as we discuss on the 35th anniversary, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles original film. Brought to you by delicious, nutritious, nondescript pizza location.
This is...
Nondescript pizza location. No! You fool.
What? No, you were the fool.
You
You gaslit me. You could also just cut it out right as I'm about to say it.
I could cut it out as you say it.
And honestly, that'd be funnier.
But what I would have preferred is if you said nondescript pizza location.
Why?
Because nondescript pizza location is truly the best pizza around. Go get nondescript pizza location today.
Major League Butt Kicking is back in town! Oh yeah!
So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I grew up with this film and you just saw it for the first time ever. Is that true?
Yeah.
So you did see this growing up?
I saw the second one.
Not this one, though.
This is the first time
Are
I'm
you
ever
serious?
watching this.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
This is a
You
great...
know the best part? I own this movie.
Yeah, you told me something interesting. You told me you grew up religiously on, like, the sequel, but you didn't see the original film?
So we never had the original movie, but we had a tape of the second movie, and I would just watch that.
Did you never think to, like, ask, like, your father or something?
I was 5 years
like,
old, I didn't care.
You just didn't care. You just was like, this is the movie
Numbers
that I really
didn't
like.
mean anything to me at the time. Like, I played Mega Man 4 first.
Did you even know it was the sequel when you watched it?
No.
Because I actually had 3 on DVD as a kid.
I only had that one movie, and I was like, oh, wow, Turtles. Oh, cool. My dad would put it on to shut me up, and it worked.
You know. So this is part 1 of our series reflecting on stuff from the 90s. Not like I was there. I'm the perfect person
Yeah, we're
to
the
talk about
we're the
this.
great people. We're the best people to have a retrospective of the 90s because we were born in 2000.
I was born in 1999. I was there for a little bit.
No, you weren't.
I was there for a couple months.
You didn't gain a conscience until like the
Well,
age of 3, and then you were probably then upon realizing your own mortality, you started screaming incomprehensibly for 3 hours.
I don't even remember life beginning, but anyways.
Exactly. Neither do I.
I always felt like the 90s, some people will say, specifically a couple years after this movie, Jurassic Park, that's like the last real blockbuster, and everything kind of like slowly started to devolve after that. Like it was like, that was like the beginning of the end, and I thought that was an interesting thing to think about.
I have seen a lot of 90s movies. I think the last blockbuster, if you want to put it there, is Independence Day.
Maybe. That's when it was like getting like... That was like when CGI started to like take effect.
Well, that's what
like
I'm
the
saying,
early
because
era.
it has a
like,
mixture of
everything
practical
kept
and
blowing
CG.
up and like, you know, becoming like bigger and schlockier and like there's less attention to detail, just kind of like becoming noise and...
So you're saying that blockbusters
stuff that
stopped
like
being good?
Stuff that like really... We saw like a trailer for like advertising movies on Blu-ray from like 2006 when Blu-ray
There was a
new.
lot of explosions.
This is the difference between watching our movies and living them.
And it was like, you know, it was like crazy CGI action spectacle explosions. It's
A bunch of white dudes with shaved hairs and sunglasses.
We were slowly making our way to that era, like after the mid-90s, I feel.
Over-reliance on CGI,
Yeah.
and nobody cared.
So this is like a real relic of the past, this first Ninja Turtles movie, I feel, that we're exploring today.
It is a stark contrast to anything I've seen now. And the only thing that comes close in terms of like lighting and detail would be Guardians 3.
Yeah, you mentioned Guardians, which is interesting because that also has a lot of CGI, with specifically CGI animal characters, which is opposite of this movie, which is like wonderful animatronics by the Jim Henson Company.
So the thing with CGI can be good.
Can be good,
But you have to let it cook.
Yeah.
You can't rush it. If you rush anything, like they could have rushed this movie out the gate. Like look at Turtles 3. And it could have looked terrible.
Well, they actually took their time with Turtles 3, oddly enough.
I don't believe
that
it.
Was a 2-year gap as opposed to a 1-year gap between this one and the second movie.
Oh, that movie was still stinky. They overcooked it, if anything.
Well, I'll have very little things to say about the sequels, but to start off, I know you like 80s cartoons. We cut this out of the previous review of the SpongeBob movie. You just went on like a complete tangent about how much you love Transformers the movie.
I do.
As a kid, like the original one.
I do. I love my war movie.
Maybe we'll get to that someday. Maybe. But anyways, so to start off with, what is your familiarity with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise? Like, so you saw the second movie. Did you see the
03 cartoon and then Rise of TMNT and that other movie that's on your collection?
All right, so you didn't see the animated one from 07?
Yeah.
So you didn't see the 80s cartoon. Is that what I'm understanding? Okay, that's interesting. I expected that to be something you probably had a history with. I actually remember seeing very little episodes of that as a kid. I definitely saw the 2003 cartoon. I have retained nothing from that other than I look at the screen and it's exactly the same with my early memories of SpongeBob, where I'm like, I look at the screen, I'm like, turtles, they fight and are cool. Like, and I have the toys.
Awesome.
And that's the thing, because like you think back to like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon from the 80s. The 80s was big on just like these big like toy commercials disguised as like trying to be entertainment.
So that was the thing with like you saw that with a lot of cartoons. You saw that with TMNT, you saw that with Transformers. You saw that with even any like video game cartoon. That should be an entirely different video, by the way.
I mean, it could be, but I do want to discuss it now just because it is relevant. Because I always think of it was always way too much on pushing the product, and it's like, wow, those things do have fans and grew an attachment to them. I was never there in the 80s, and I didn't grow up on much 80s cartoons. I grew up on like the 2000s reboots. Like I think I want to say He-Man. I saw very, very little He-Man as a kid. No, I saw like the 2000s He-Man show. There was a 2000s one, right?
There's a new one, I think.
Probably, I don't know. That was another thing where it's like I had a couple toys from McDonald's or something of that as a kid, and so I was like, okay.
So the thing with the 80s cartoons is that they were always meant to solely advertise toys.
Right.
So that's why I've seen clips of the TMNT show that like they'll show up in some weird wacky contraption, which makes no sense as to how they even had like the money and logistics to build something like that.
But then that would be a toy, and you'd see that in the show.
You'd see it in the show and be like, oh, that's really cool, because you're a kid.
I cut Raphael, the sun. Don't throw this at home, kids! And Michelangelo, the new shackles. Radical!
And they're trying to sell you product. Because the show is not there to act. The show is episodic, and it's not serialized.
There's little bit of a story, I think, right?
There's like a little bit of a story, but they're not focused. They don't care about the story, the producers. Right. They want to push product because they want kids to buy product.
The thing I always saw about that is like, while you can do that and make it work, it's I always think of Star Wars like the original and Empire Strikes Back, where it's like there's cool things that make for good toys, but they always feel like byproducts of the movie and the story itself.
They're focusing on this is
well-crafted
80s cartoons. 80s cartoons are what happens when you have the exact opposite, where they're built around the idea of the toys.
And that's my biggest problem, where it's like I try looking back at like 80s animation after not really growing up with it, and I always think to myself, that really doesn't look good. Like it's so... The animation is so rushed and kind of terrible. There's several errors in it. And
so that's where I end up getting enjoyment out of it, because it's so broken and sad.
I think it's the fact that like it's like, what do I get out of this? Like, I don't want to be like watching something where it's like it's so bad that it's entertaining and I can point fun at it. It's like I want to like enjoy it, and it's like with an 80s show and there's so much of it, it's like it's just so much noise flying at you. It's like I can never get into it.
It happened with TMNT, it happened with Transformers, it happened with G.I. Joe, it happened with He-Man, it happened with friggin' She-Ra. I'm trying to think of anything else. There's also Captain N.
Oh, Game right.
Masters, which is literally just a giant advertisement for a bunch of different Nintendo games.
Mega High! Wake up, Kid Icarus.
Welcome to Castle Danger!
So that's 80s cartoons in a nutshell.
But
just kind of like, just like really dumb, pandering nonsense.
All those shows are
advertising.
literally a perfect example of what TMNT was doing.
It's too corporate for me. That's
all-
that's really where it's at. There's no heart.
So they're all like, okay, one thing you're definitely going to notice is the intros. Like, watch each intro, and they always have really good animation to like sell you on the show.
Yeah, that's where all the money goes into.
And
You're
then
gonna see
the
that every
actual
time.
cartoon, like they've already hooked you on the on it with the intro.
Right.
So now they're just gonna like barely, and sometimes they have good stories that they're telling, and the writers clearly want to do something, but then they're forced to introduce like, oh, you gotta show off this turtle tank, or this turtle airplane, or this new Krang machine, because we have this big stupid dome toy that we want to sell.
So when I was a kid, I did have the original movie on VHS. And then I also had a couple random stuff. I think like an older relative like passed it down to me. And a couple tapes of like episodes of the 80s show.
Mm.
Which I was not too familiar with. I knew the movie though, and I would occasionally put on those tapes of the episodes. I didn't watch them too much, I don't think, because I would watch them and I'd be like, this is silly and dumb. And it's just like, that first movie, though, which I saw several times, it's like, this is good entertainment.
See, the movies, this is what I love. The 80s the movies based on 80s properties get to like spread their wings and be what the idea is supposed to be. So with TMNT, it gets to be more of like a gritty, like actual kind of like gang fight between the Turtles and the Foot Clan, and they get to actually like tell a story and have arcs.
Right, and it's like, like you don't have to worry about television restrictions. Like I think I was talking about it, there was even the TV show was criticized for being like violent in Europe. They couldn't even call it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
They call it Hero Turtles.
It was Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, yeah. In the American show, in the later episodes, they would like use a grappling hook, I think, as his weapon, because they
actually reference that in the Rise of TMNT. He doesn't get his nunchucks at first. He has a little ball and chain.
And the Foot Clan, the little ninja guys, I want to say those were like robots in the TV show.
I think so.
Yeah,
that way they have an excuse to rip them in half.
Well, yeah, because like again, like we can't suggest that they're beating up people like on a TV show. We can't let the kids think that real violence is happening. Meanwhile, in the movie, it's just they're literal children being abducted and then beaten up, brainwashed into a cult.
Yeah, no, movie is very dark, and I love you see that whenever an 80s like kid show property gets to be in theaters, it's a lot darker, or it's a lot more messed up. It's with TMNT, it's with Transformers. I don't remember any other 80s movie. One thing I think I kind of find funny is that this movie, lighting-wise, looks gorgeous.
It's pretty phenomenal, yeah. No, it's
You don't see that much anymore.
What I like is it makes really good use of like shadows. Like they're in the sewer, and it just looks all like kind of wet and grody. You can see like the reflection of like the water.
This whole movie's dark. It's dark, it's murky.
It looks really good on like the grain of like old school film, which you don't see anymore because everything's digital now. You don't get grain.
Which is depressing because grain kind of makes it. I watched the original Terminator on VHS on an old CRT from the time that tape would have been released. The movie looks phenomenal on that display.
Looks phenomenal because you can't tell what's happening because it's all blurry.
Oh, no, I can see it.
Don't worry, I came prepared. Put those away.
Here's the thing.
I'll take Blu-ray over VHS any day. That's my thing.
I just like being quirky.
Oh, yeah, you little hipster. So,
I'm not a hipster. I just like my tapes.
This is the difference between watching our movies and living them.
Transitioning from the 80s to the 90s, you already mentioned, like, stuff becoming grittier and stuff, and I feel like stuff was really starting to grow in the 90s. Like, this movie came out in 1990, which I think was 3 years after the cartoon came out, which is what everyone was familiar with. And, again, they wanted to go more serious, more darker. They still kept some of the goofier elements from the TV show.
It's still like a kid's show.
You gotta sell it to kids, because adults aren't going to go watch this. At least not at the time.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, no. So you had to keep that, a lighter energy to it.
But that was the thing with...
The comics that it was based on were, like, really gritty and dark. They were like not for kids at all. It was, and again, they were kind of made as like a joke. It was like the writers like were just like trying to make like sort of like a gag. It was like based on like Daredevil comics. The origins were kind of like intertwined.
Which is really funny that
implied intertwined at least.
The chemical that made Daredevil blind mutated
like fell off. I think that is how like the comic panel goes. I don't think they explicitly name him for legal reasons, obviously, Matt Murdock, but it's like it's setting up like the Daredevil origin scene, and it's like it like hits him in the face, bounces off, like rolls into a sewer, I think is how it happens. Like, here's this story here. We're not going to worry about that other guy.
We're not going to focus on the more cool character. We're going to focus on these funny turtles in my little power fantasy. But, no, that was a thing with even in the 90s, because like you also had Batman, the animated series.
That came out 90s. Just 2 years after. And that was when they really bold. That was like real storytelling.
That's when they started balancing product with story.
The toys just kind of follow from that show, because that show just has so many weirdo characters in it.
Fear is the glue that holds society together. Fear is power.
Who are just all interesting.
It's not even just like the toy, like the action figures. It's also like the Batmobile or a bunch of other stuff. But they're not like shoving it in my face.
They also didn't hold back. They got really kind of like dark and disturbing with some of those characters. Really.
Oh yeah, they did. Thinking about like 80s products constantly getting shoved in your face when you're watching these older shows, it really dates them too. Because you go back and you watch them and it's like, oh, they're just like selling me a toy I can't even buy anymore.
Right.
It's really, I think it's bad in TMNT, it's bad in G.I. Joe, it's bad in He-Man, it's really bad in Transformers, because the toys are the characters. There was the Ghostbusters cartoon show.
That's right. Yeah.
That one also was just as bad. But like it was also still, here's the thing, that show was also different because there were episodes where they weren't just being like, look, toy, buy it, please. It was just like an actual show. There are some outliers.
That show actually I think affected the sequel, because that came out before.
That came out way before the sequel.
And then the sequel, I never liked Ghostbusters 2 very much. I always thought it was way too like kiddie and goofy and dumb.
Oh, it's you. Okay. But I didn't know you had your license.
Do you know the whole reason why that show was called The Real Ghostbusters?
It was because of the Gorilla show.
Yeah, I love that.
It is crazy watching the movie though. It's like, because it is like, there's some phenomenal fight choreography in the movie. Like they put so much effort into it. They didn't like
the set design when the kids were all in the Foot Clan hideout, like rolling around on skateboards.
Oh yeah, like they're all like
they're playing Narc in the background, which is really funny. They're playing an anti-drug game,
and you just see them like some of them are just like smoking. They're playing pool. Like it's like the lighting is cool. Like the set design is cool. Like it's very 90s, very like urban feeling. Very like dark.
The thing with a lot of newer movies is the lighting is either over brightened, so they're trying to make it so you can see everything, but it feels like you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Or it's too dark. And then the fight choreography, I said this while we were watching the movie, the camera stays still a lot of the time. It's like a wide shot of everyone fighting. So there's a lot going on, so you can rewatch the movie and see a different thing each time.
Right, so like there is legit choreography in this movie, and typically when you don't have great choreography, that's where shaky cam is implemented, because it gives the shakiness of a camera in an action scene kind of gives the illusion that like, not that necessarily that it's good, but it gives the sense of like motion and like rhythm, like and like franticness. It's a frantic energy that kind of presents this danger to it. But like if you take the time to actually like choreograph with like real martial arts, and the actors in those turtle suits, they really are. I don't know, I'm assuming they had stuntmen probably for certain scenes.
There was one shot that I loved where the two of them are like rolling on each other at
members. Like it's crazy stuff, and they're doing it in these turtle suits, like these like crazy ninja moves. Like, and when they got like the Foot Clan guy with like the nunchucks who's like challenging Michelangelo, and like he's like they're both flawless. They don't screw up once. Like
you'd expect it. Like the Foot Clan guy like messes up at least once, but he doesn't. Then
he like hits himself in the face, and it's like a joke.
I was fully expecting that to happen, but no, they were both fully competent with the nunchucks.
Well, and it's funny because this movie was very contentious as being very violent. I know Roger Ebert
Yeah, that movie
talked
was
about
tame.
this.
I'm not gonna lie. That is tame.
There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, Roger Ebert, the famous film critic, he had a review of this. Him and Gene Siskel on their show, they were not very kind to this.
I don't know what all the excitement is about. The four turtles have mostly interchangeable characters. They set about their boring task of conquering dull villains.
What you have here is marketing carried to the ultimate degree. It's kind of a dark, brooding, kind of depressing looking movie, and even though I admired the set decoration, it didn't have the bright and bouncy feeling that you'd like to think that kids would enjoy when they're that age.
They knew it was popular. They knew it was like They knew about like the whole advertising frenzy of like, it's just nonsense. They have no personalities. Which, to be fair, they're not the most in-depth, I would say. They're all stand out, but like...
Okay, so Raph, they have personalities, they just don't go deep into them. Raph is angry. Leo's, like, the older brother. Donnie and Mikey are just are the two goofy younger siblings.
You can pick them apart to a certain degree, but it's like, it is surface level. I'll give them that, but, like, you do call out the violence, and it's like... They are using real, like, weapons and stuff, and, like, there are, like, some pretty brutal, like, kicks and punches to the head.
The violence is still very campy. Even if it's really well choreographed, and there's a few gut-wrenching, like, kicks and punches to, like, the head and the chest and whatnot.
Right.
Where you're like, oh, that must really hurt. Because you're going from like, a little TV show where there's very little violence, or it's, like, campy, corny, like, slapstick violence, and then you're going into a gritty, darker movie.
To be honest, the editing is really what saves it. Like, they do, the turtles do make jokes. It is, like, fairly lighthearted. There's, like, little mannerisms where, the Foot Clan guy is, like, trying to avoid the attacks. He's like, whoa, whoa, like... Like there's like little goofy elements thrown in, little goofy sound effects too. Like Donatello spits the water out at one point. It makes like a little.
It's jokey. It's still got that. It's still got that. The '80s cartoons kind of.
But if you do remove some of that stuff in editing, I can see where it would get pretty gruesome and stuff. Like the music, I think too is like it's like do 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 do.
There's only a point where Mikey's on the floor dodging an axe, and the entire time he's cracking jokes.
A child will not see that and be terrified by it. I think the more concern was them imitating it, but it's like, how often do kids get hold of like katanas and stuff? It's not like they were using like guns and like shooting each other.
I know Danny was like, oh, no, whoa, don't shoot. And then it's like, I don't think it's loaded.
That was a good joke.
Don't shoot. I don't think it's loaded, kid.
You say don't shoot.
Yes. I don't know. I think people were maybe a little bit overly critical of that. But of course, that led to them not using weapons in the sequel.
Which made for a lesser sequel.
Yeah. I think the other problem, too, is just, like, everything, even if it wasn't for kids, kept advertising to kids at that time. Like, they had, like, toys for, like, Terminator 2 and, like, Alien and stuff like
Terminator
that.
2 is not a kid's movie.
No. But
neither is Terminator.
I think maybe there was just, like, this worry that, like, kids were getting into, like, all the wrong things. Because, like, remember there was also the NES games for Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, that was back when literally any movie that came out in theaters that saw any amount of success got a video game.
But children played video games back then. Adults didn't play or weren't. It was too taboo if you were an adult into video games.
It wasn't
back then.
that. Yeah, it wasn't as. There were definitely adults that played video games back then and enjoyed them, but like they weren't at our point where we're just like.
But it's like you wouldn't make a Friday the 13th game or Nightmare on Elm Street game thinking an adult is going to be the core market. Like it's a kid. A kid is the core market.
Yeah, because the NES was literally advertised as a toy.
Right.
Like it's sold in Toys R Us at the time.
This really was like that era where because it was like stuff like other stuff is like the Mortal Kombat games like that caused like a whole thing in court. Actually, of course.
Not just that, even also Night Trap.
Night Trap, the ESRB. It's like you look at Mortal Kombat. It's like there was the blood, obviously the blood, and like
the dismemberment.
The dismemberment, like I think Sub-Zero pulls the head, but it's like you look back at that. That's so cartoony. And look at what we have now with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's cartoony to us now, but back then, the thing you had to immediately compare it to was Mario.
Right, but I mean, it's like, it's cartoony either way, though, when you look at it. Because it's like people...
Because it's literally just a JPEG.
Because, again, we had movies like the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Those were, you know, like, all about, like, gore and bloodshed. And it's like, you know, like,
but
even that's not realistic. But it's like, it's more realistic than that. It's like,
but they're also
that's
like
nothing.
Those movies are also clearly advertised for an older audience. So it's still weird when a video game gets released on a platform that was, at the time, solely targeted at kids. Like, the NES's commercial was literally a kid in his room playing with Rob the Robot. It's like solely saying, like, you're a kid, you're gonna love this, it's great.
Well, that's the thing, though, it's just like, that really did spark of, like, parents, like, being more concerned for their children around that time. That was the other... That actually ties into another point that Roger Ebert makes, where he actually was very critical of video games when they were, like, big and new at the time.
That's because
he actually owned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES. That was, like, one of the games... He got it because it was popular. Like, you know, Ninja Turtles. That's the popular game. I'll play that one. They talked about it, him and Gene Siskel, on a segment.
I got one of these sets at home and I started playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with it. I was in front of the set playing with these mutant turtles, and it got to the point where it was making me quite unhappy because I was so obsessed with it, and I finally unplugged the machine and I said, that's it for Nintendo.
And he says he got so frustrated with the video game, it made him so angry, he turned it off, like, threw the thing in a closet, and didn't touch it. And he was, like, concerned about, like, what this does to kids. It makes them angry. It makes them...
No, that makes him angry.
Makes him angry.
Because the kids are going to play and be like, oh my god, it's Ninja Turtles!
It was a little frightening to hear the kids saying that they play 2 hours a night or 1 hour a night. That's a hell of a lot of time.
I think adults don't have the innocence that children have. They look at everything so much more cynically. Because even I'll do that, and I'll be thinking, like, am I overreacting, thinking about
adults
how this thing maybe isn't for children anymore? Because I've done that with some Cartoon Network shows that maybe got away with things they shouldn't have.
Here's the thing, with things like this, I just kind of watch and be like, that's awesome that they got away with this. Because kids are kids. They just want to see the funny turtles do the funny flips and kicks. And that's it. They're not going to pay attention to the story arc. They're not going. They want the cool visuals, and that's it. Cool visuals with the awesome background music. Or if it's in the case of the video game, they want to be able to be the turtle going around being like, oh, hey, look, Foot Clan member, stab. And then move on. That's why they shifted to the beat 'em up games, because it's more just less tricky platforming that could frustrate the kid, and more so just walk up to the dude and just beat.
I've played a little bit of Ninja Turtles 2, which is a port of the arcade game. That one's good. I think I do like more of the tricky platform. That's from someone who's a big Castlevania fan, though.
The Konami game is more unique.
Well, they're all Konami.
I know they're all Konami, but like the first Konami game is like really unique.
Right.
And I think it's actually pretty good. It's got really good music too.
Yeah, it does. I agree.
It also
I've never beaten it. I've tried to though. So the plot, from what I know, and this is because I'm a fake fan and I've not read the comics, but I'm under the impression it is mostly adapting the original comic, because Shredder, believe it or not, even though he's seen as like the main villain of the Turtles, I know in the cartoon they had like some aliens or something.
The
Krang. And there were like a bunch of like other mutant alien characters. Like they had like a whole roster.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
They had Bebop and Rocksteady. They had a whole roster of characters to sell toys to. I grew up with none of that. All I knew is the Shredder, because all I knew is this movie. And he's not even like that big of a villain, because he dies in like the first comic. They like brutally murder him or something. And then, you know, like he meets his demise at the end of this movie. It's a very simple story of the Shredder having ties to their master Splinter from back in the day. The Shredder murdered Splinter's owner. He was a pet rat.
They're doing kung fu in his cage.
Who he learned kung fu from in his cage. We get to see the little puppet.
That is still the funniest thing about that movie. It's so cute.
That's I would say that out of all the things, that's maybe the most illogical thing in the movie that's hard to swallow, but it is just kind of cute and charming, just seeing like the little rat learn kung fu by watching his master.
My suspension of disbelief is already like out the window when you told me to watch a movie about turtles doing ninja flips.
Sure, but like you can believe it after the ooze has mutated them and they start to like form more human-ish thoughts and like comprehension, essentially.
one of them spoke.
Pizza! Pizza!
No, okay, here's the thing.
That's how I would interpret that.
With how Splinter is talking about his past, he was fully, like, consciously aware of what was going on around him. You literally see him, after Shredder kills his master, mourning the dude's death by, like, the puppet grabs his hand, he's all sad and everything.
It's really good puppet work. This was Jim Henson, one of his final works, and it was absolutely wonderful work he did with these. Not just like the little puppets that they have for certain points, but just these full animatronic suits for both Splinter and the Turtles. They're completely lifelike in every way.
I don't think Splinter was a suit. I think he was a full puppet.
He might have been a full. Oh yeah, you're right. I think Splinter was a full puppet because he doesn't do much. He just stands around. You're right.
But I also love that they keep. That movie kept doing a thing where the script kept being really well thought out. Like that part where Danny would go up after everyone was sleeping
Everything
from the
gets set
sewer,
up, yeah.
And Casey's up there sleeping in the truck because he thought Donatello called him gay.
You're a claustrophobic.
I've never even looked at another guy before.
And he's just like, what's the ginger doing? And starts following him. And then you see Danny go into the building, but then you see Casey coming up from the left, sneaking in. And then later on, when I think Mikey throws his nunchucks away, they land conveniently on the ladder that Splinter is now climbing.
Yeah, it's like all these little things get set up to like build off of everything.
Everything's bouncing off of each other.
Yeah, no, I mean, so what we are saying is basically the plot is there's like some mysterious crime wave going on in New York. No one knows what's happening. Alleged sightings of teenage boys at the crime scene just out of like eye shot or whatever, and like stuff is getting stolen. Basically, and there's rumors from immigrants, I think is what's said in the film. There are immigrants who recall similar things happening in Japan years prior, and there's like some rumor of this mysterious Japanese ninja cult called the Foot Clan. This one reporter, April O'Neil, played by what's her name, Judith Hogue, I think is the name, who I looked her up. She's not been in too many big things after this. The biggest thing I could find is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which no one likes. I don't even know if you are familiar with those movies.
I didn't care about the remake.
That's actually Nightmare on... Thank you. That's actually the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. That's actually how New Line Cinema got their start. New Line Cinema was the production company that produced this movie.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you believe in the boogeyman?
No.
Stark contrast. Not gonna lie.
Well,
Dream murderer that stab children. Turtles.
It's funny because there's a scene where Raphael puts on like the hat and the trench coat, and when he puts on the hat, I'm thinking like, oh, Freddy Krueger.
Please, God.
This is God.
Freddy. I was thinking like the Redditor just being like, my lady.
Oh, that. But no, so they got to start with that. Actually, nobody wanted to make this movie at first. It's kind of interesting. Nobody wanted. You would think the Turtles being as big as they were and in their prime, everyone would be racing to get a movie made of this. But like, so the guys who did the comic, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, they actually had creative control over this movie, which is why it's so good as it is. It wasn't like some person just being like there was like a director.
There wasn't a suit being like, oh, you gotta have the Turtles say the funny joke.
There was a director, but they were like kind of like helping to craft the story and stuff.
They were the head honchos.
They were actually the reason. This is another interesting thing. They did not allow for characters from the cartoon in these movies. They did not want the cartoon character. They wanted to keep it more like the comics that they had.
I'm glad that the only thing they kept from the cartoon was the color-coded bandanas.
Yeah, because they all wear red in the comics. That and they're all black and white in the comics, too.
That too, but also, like, they're all wearing red bandanas, and I'm sitting there like...
That does help people identify them and, like, identify with them. Like, you know, all the kids have their favorite turtle. But, like, yeah, no, it was, like, New Line was, like, still up and coming at the time, you know. Obviously, they had just made big hits with those Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And they were like, we'll give it a chance. And then, you know, like, they ended up making all these crazy, you know, 90s action movies. Like, you know, later they would do Mortal Kombat, which is where you got the choreographer from these movies came onto that movie. And then Blade, the Marvel adaptation.
Oh my god, Blade.
That was
I love that movie. That movie's so stupid and I love it.
April O'Neil, she is on the case, but the Foot Clan doesn't like that, and the police also don't like that because they're under pressure. So everyone's kind of like out to silence her.
And then she gets fired.
And then they try to attack her. The ninjas. Thankfully, Raphael just happens to be around. He takes her back. One of the ninjas follows them, finds Splinter. And while the turtles are gone, that's when Shredder kidnaps Splinter.
I really want to
And so
know,
it becomes really like a soul-searching movie for them to like kind of like man up, figure out what to do, try and like rescue Splinter.
There's a lot of I think the only two characters that have like genuine, aside from maybe some of the humans, Leo and Raph actually having a moment after their argument. That's like the only development I see in the movie.
Yeah. Well,
you said that Michelangelo is supposed to have like a dark arc himself, and then they were like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, we'll just leave all the drama between Leo and Raph feuding.
Yeah, and then Donnie and I love the part where Donnie and Mikey are just like, fight, kitchen.
Well, they do set up early on. There's the scene where they're ordering the pizza and it's late, and then you get like the little gag of like the guy who's confused of like, I just give it to the person in the store. Okay, like, Donnie and we were kind of talking during that scene, but Donnie and Mike, they're having like this little heart to heart talk, and it's like, because Splinter was just giving them a lesson, like saying like, you all have to learn what you can and learn to rely on each other because you won't have me for forever. And he's like, you ever think about what Splinter said if we didn't have him? And Mike is just kind of in denial, like, whatever, he's fine, we got him, we're good.
Time's up. $3 off.
And it's like, you can see where that would kind of lead to like how that might affect him psychologically.
And that's why he was on the top of that mountain yelling his name, but they dubbed it over with Raph's voice.
It was a house. I don't think they were on a mountain. Right?
It looked like dirt.
Was it dirt? I'm already forgetting. I've seen that movie multiple times and I can't remember what's going on there.
This was my first time seeing this movie, Jay.
Ooh, we'll see who's right in the editing.
I hope I'm wrong. If I'm right,
I'll look like a fool.
Yeah, you owe me ice cream if I'm right.
So what you just witnessed was the scene in question that we were just talking about of Michelangelo, or maybe Raphael, who knows, standing up on top of, well, we couldn't decide, it was a roof or some sort of a hill or mountain mound of some sort. It is a little dark and it's hard to tell. I always thought it was a house, though. But just to be sure, I then took that frame and I brightened up the exposure and highlights of it in editing. And, well, I can understand why someone looking at it may have thought it was a hill. Obviously, it's triangular in shape, or, a mountaintop that kind of looks like that. And also you can see here there's like sort of like tree and vine, nature-y sort of stuff. Now, what I actually think that is that's just trees covering part of the house, or possibly vines on the house. 'Cause, in this scene, they're supposed to be staying in hiding at an old farmhouse, essentially. And also, plus here on the outline of what the turtle is standing on, you can clearly see in the outline, clearly defined, where the triangle meets shingles for a rooftop, as opposed to rocks or dirt. It's very perfectly aligned that way. As well as right next to Michelangelo, there is a little classic chicken weather vane on top of the house. So essentially, yeah, that pretty much confirms that this is in fact a rooftop he's standing on. And Hunter was wrong. It is not a mountain or hill.
It's actually really emotional the way they play out when Splinter goes, because there's like lots of like weird perspective shots in this movie. You get like the camera like circling around, like it kind of keeps speeding up around Raph
as he's screaming.
Yeah, no, and it's like, again, like the deep shadows. You can see like what looks like beads of sweat on like the turtles. Like they look like real things. Like that really does help. It doesn't look like some cheap material.
It looks like
it looks
creature.
real. There's dark shadows. The music is like really like eerie and like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like ambience, like
There's
it's
a lot
like
of ambience,
it's like building, atmosphere, and like he just screams, and it just feels real in that moment. Like they don't play it off as a joke. This is real seriousness. They just lost their father. He might be dead. They don't know.
I like the shot where Shredder's walking up. And it's just his shadow.
Yeah, you get like the shadow stretching. It's like this long, powerful looking thing. And, like,
it's supposed to tell you how big and dangerous this guy is.
It's from the top, and the camera pans down. It's like that's such a great reveal, and it's like all like one shot too.
They thought this movie out.
They did. It's amazing how much artistic integrity was in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990.
You'd be amazed going back to a lot of those older movies and finding how well shot a lot of them were.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, like it's like you really had to like know what you were doing. You couldn't like fix things in post. You couldn't see what you shot when you were shooting on film. You had to like wait till it was developed and look at the dailies, and then you'd have to like plan out possible reshoots. Sometimes you didn't get reshoots depending on like your budget or whatever. You were just stuck with like whatever crap, and you're like, oh.
Hey y'all, real quick, I just wanted to explain something. So people might not know what I'm talking about here when I mention film or digital. Now let me explain. Most commonly used cameras today are digital cameras, kind of like the cameras you have on your phone, where you'll take a picture with it, and then the picture saves, and you can look at it afterwards, and if it doesn't look right, you can just take it again. It's a digital process that has computer chips simulating traditional photography. However, back in the day, people shot on actual film strip, or photosensitive material. When this material was exposed to light, it would capture the image. However, if left in the light too long, it would be completely washed out. This is why camera shutters only open for either a second or fraction of a second. The film would need to be put through a chemical process to retain that image. And so you couldn't take your film out of the camera to look at what you had shot. You'd have to wait till it was developed later on. This is why photography is developed in dark rooms, so no light seeps in and destroys the image. The chemical process is what actually creates the grain you see in old films. It's all the silver particles that stick to the film. Most people wouldn't be able to know what they shot on the camera for sure until sometime later, as you couldn't just simply look at the clip you shot and redo it on the spot, like you can with digital cameras. This is why a director really had to yell cut to make sure that no physical film was wasted, as well as really know what he was doing with his actors, and how the set was properly lit, and that the cinematographer knew exactly how to operate the camera efficiently. So in other words, some things could essentially slip by cinematographers and directors if they were small enough. Take, for instance, this scene in Goodfellas. It's a period piece set in between the 50s and 1980 in New York. It was filmed and released almost a decade later in 1990. Because of this, to create the authenticity that it took place in those previous decades, they put prop license plates on the cars that were on set during filming. So they had the classic yellow New York license plate, as opposed to the more modern white ones when they were filming. As you can see here in this shot, one of these fake license plates actually falls off and reveals the real plate underneath. It's such a small thing, and probably no one noticed because they were more focused on the action taking place in the scene. Plus, it's all the way in the corner. And again, they couldn't check to make sure. They wouldn't be able to see what was actually shot until later on, once the film had been developed. Of course, nowadays with modern cameras, this isn't a problem because you can instantly watch back what was recorded. Martin Scorsese himself, the director of Goodfellas, has even switched to digital in more recent films. I hope this was insightful for you all. Please enjoy the rest of the video.
Yeah, but this is also back when these people genuinely cared about what they were making. Even if it was a licensed property, they wanted to make something good.
Right. Have you well, especially if it's like they'd hire like a young up and coming filmmaker who would want to do like a really good job essentially with like Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes Craven would go on to do great things, he made Nightmare on Elm Street. They just wanted like a horror movie. They wanted something to like really sell to kids, something like Friday the 13th or whatever. He made a masterpiece of terror essentially. It's something like that here. This guy clearly was like, all right, we're gonna have like these really nice shadowy shots, because like ninjas, you think of like hiding in the shadows. So
that's why this movie's so dark.
You get like dark imagery, like shadowy imagery. Like I think that kind of like does set the mood and the tone.
Yeah.
You like that opening scene actually, where they like save April. You know, before like they're properly introduced to April. April's getting like mugged by like the kids in the street, and so you see like the weapon. You don't see the turtle. You just see like Raphael's side.
And kids would know that from the show.
They would know that, oh, they're there, and like they're waiting to see them. They don't see them because then like when the light hits out, the screen hits to black. You just hear sound effects.
You just hear like some.
And then like the light kind
of like opens the.
But no, the light kind of opens up, and then you just see them. They're all tied up. It's like what a great effect. Like it's so simple.
Not only that, you also see Raph like open up the manhole cover and he's looking in. You get like a glimpse of what.
Well, like the siren lights from the police are like shining bits of imagery onto like his mask, and it's like that's crazy. The score is really good too, because then you get like the credits in the score, and it's like the it's like a bit of like techno hip hop.
Yeah.
Not quite on par with, say, the Mortal Kombat theme song, but
you want something else I kind of like about this movie?
What's that?
It feels so much more grounded, because like the main villain doesn't become some big over the top like
really
massive
serious.
monster.
Yeah, it's not like, because I do know Krang. I do remember Krang. He's like this.
Give it here. What's going on?
Really, he has like all
nothing
weird,
like that in the
so all these weird voices. And then Shredder in the cartoon, he's Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You go, I can't do the Shredder voice.
Can't do the Shredder voice.
I wanted to conquer Earth today.
Still doing the Shredder voice though.
Tonight I dine on turtle soup.
I'm gonna nail your behind to the floor.
No, he looks really scary and intimidating. Like he like puts like his like.
There's a background to him
He's just covered in spikes. He's got like a gauntlet of spikes that he just like puts up to like a little boy's face and shit.
I know when Splinter was telling Danny about who killed his master, and then the other dude that he scratched his face. Like, that's obviously Shredder.
It's pretty obvious, but
it's still really cool when they takes off the mask and reveals that that's actually him.
He's like a murderer, crime lord, and as opposed to dumb Saturday morning cartoon, they really tried to like flesh him out and give him some depth, I think, into like what's his motivation, why is he doing this. Really, we don't know fully how he turned to crime. They kind of keep that mysterious. We just know he murdered the wife of Splinter's master,
and then Splinter's master,
and then he kind of disappeared after Splinter attacked and scarred him, and then. We know he was doing crime in Japan because they do mention the Foot Clan and their work in Japan. Now he's here in America. I don't know when that transition happened. I don't know I don't know where his plan came into play, but obviously he comes to America at some point and he starts recruiting the children. He tries to like brainwash them, get them to like look up to him as like a fatherly figure. He lets them keep what they steal and just kind of like play around, have fun.
You are here because the outside world rejects you. This is your family.
Do whatever they want, like kind of like get into them, get in with them psychologically, so then he can groom them to become these like ninja thieves and murderers. Presumably, they were just stealing. Who knows if he had bigger plans to like start murdering people and like take over? Or something?
He probably did because he literally sent them to go kill April.
He did, yeah. Well, to cover up though the stealing and the theft and stuff.
Exactly. So that could have easily gotten worse. Like I think his goal probably, if I had to guess, his goal was to take over the city.
And I also think of like Casey Jones in this movie. I never saw him in the cartoons. I don't know if he might have been like a later addition to the cartoons. Actually, I'm not even sure.
I think what I love about him is like he's just a goofball in this movie.
A Jose Canseco bat? Tell me. You didn't pay money for this.
That joke means something to someone. Well, he's kind of goofy when you get to know him, but like when you first see him, he's just like you can tell he's been doing this for a while because he's got like this whole Batman kind of like persona that he's created, where like he wears a hockey mask, which is a little Friday the 13th-esque, and then he just beats people up with like sports utility. He's just like bad guy specifically, but he's doing like a little vigilante stuff, which of course illegal and like like maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe you should like be calling the police or something.
Nah, he's got this. You see those arms, those veiny arms.
Like, that's aggressive, like because like that's like the most realistic like threat I would think parents might perceive, because like, everybody has sports equipment, it's easy to get. And it's just like, that stuff can hurt, that's lethal. Like, he beats up a guy with a golf club at one point. Like, that's like serious like blood injury or whatever.
Yeah, not only does he beat him up with it, he sends him flying like 5 feet.
Yeah, I know. That actor, I'm forgetting his name. It's Elias something. He's got like a really odd name. I checked his IMDb and stuff. He's actually been in a few movies that are like of note. I've never seen any of them. It's like nothing like huge. None of these actors really ever made it into anything huge. The biggest actor being Corey Feldman, who was a big child actor in the 80s in The Goonies and Friday the 13th Part 4 and Gremlins. He was a little kid in that. The other thing is he makes a cameo. There's just randomly Sam Rockwell's in this.
Check it out, man. Anything you guys want, we got it. Anything you want to do it. Anything you want here, we got it.
Ended up doing lots of movies and TV later. He was in The Green Mile, Iron Man 2, The White Lotus is a show he's on, stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting. There's a little bit of stardom in this movie. It has a little star power, but not a lot.
The movie exists.
It exists.
Good.
And then Kevin Clash, the voice and puppeteer of Splinter, was the voice of Elmo on Sesame Street.
That's so weird to think about.
It is weird. They sound so different.
You got Splinter being like, oh, and then you got Elmo.
Another thing about like the cinematography is like you've seen the sequel. You know how like bright and colorful that movie gets. It's like not only is like dark and shadowy, but like the color palette feels a lot more muted and stuff. It's not really accentuated.
Yeah, I love that New York City looks gross.
It's got some nice color to it. It's just like it's not so emphasized. Like I remember how the turtles look super green and their masks are like super bright, and like they got like that opening scene in the second movie where like they're in like the the general store or something. Like there's like it's just like very blank and blunt lights. It's not really like anything moody or atmospheric. It's just like kind of like they're in a hardware store or something. It's like it's not that interesting, as opposed to say them fighting around in the sewers and on the rooftops of this movie where it's like you got like that cold shadowy light hitting them. It's really neat.
I like that they were driving around a little Volkswagen bus for a bit there, and then the thing blows a gasket, and then Casey gets out of the car and he's like, bah!
That feels like one of those things where like they'd be setting up for the sequel. Oh, that's going to be the turtle van later, but we never see that again ever. That little van.
It's a little guy.
Whatever.
I don't think the boss character that fires April has any actual arc.
No, he's just there to keep the plot going, and well, it's really to show that like people are less alone or less hated than you might think. Because like again, Shredder's whole manipulation is that nobody likes you, you're rejects, and it's like you got like teen angst and like
he's
thinking their parents don't get them, and it's stuff. It's like no, his father loves him. He's like he wants him to be the best that he can be. He is like super upset once he's gone. He doesn't like that he's stealing stuff. He's looking out for him, and eventually he realizes that. And like, of course, we see the father come around after like scolding his son for most of the movie. He's like, "Oh, thank God, he's safe. He's fine."
I like the dad's reaction. Like, damn.
There's a lot of stuff about like learning to really connect with your family and stuff in this movie. Because again, like the turtles, they've lost Splinter. He's a father figure to them. They're all miserable. They don't know what to do. Eventually they learn, and Raph is like in a coma for a while as they're like spending time on the farm and hiding.
When he wakes up, Leo and Raph are like, "Oh my God, my brother, I love you."
They had like a big fight before that, so for all Leo knew, that was gonna be the last moment he had with his brother. Then they start to patch things up. They start to like really learn to train and hone in on things together, work together to fight off the Foot Clan instead of like splitting off one-on-one.
And then Splinter shows up in a blue Force Ghost and a fire. He's like, "My sons,
they learn ninja magic.
You have learned ninja magic. I cannot believe this. I didn't know you could do this. Please get me out of Shredder's warehouse."
And then then you got even there's like a little line where April is showing them like the little storeroom that she's got in the antique shop that she kind of keeps. It was her father's.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't know why I keep this stuff around. It's probably just kind of silly that I even have it. And like,
but you know why?
Well, then Donatello then just very earnestly and bluntly looks at her and says, "No, it isn't."
I don't know. I guess it's kind of dumb to lose money on a business just because you miss your father.
No, it isn't.
And then like they just move on with like, you know, like it's good that you have a connection to your father. Is the point? Like it's good to have connections to family, and I think that is an important value.
That's the entire theme of the movie.
It's a very good theme, and it's very apparent if you're paying attention to it. And not thinking to yourself, oh my god, these turtles are ruining our children's minds.
Oh my god, Leo was like, gotcha, and then kicked him in the face. My son's gonna go to school and stab someone now.
I love that there's just casual murder at the end of this movie.
Oh my god, Casey just walk up, whoops.
Oops.
It's like the most tonally confused moment in the movie where it's just like, oops, which is just the dumpster like just completely crushes like
given
Shredder's
what these
skull.
characters go through and what Shredder puts them through, I don't blame Casey for being like,
He doesn't even think about it. He's just like, oh, oops. Like he doesn't even like question like, should I murder him or not? Like it's one thing. It's like,
okay. Let's lay down Shredder's crimes in this movie: murder, potential drug deals, theft, kidnapping, grooming, cults, conspiracy.
I mean, no, he's a pretty messed up guy. I wouldn't blame someone for wanting to take justice into their own hands.
Attempted murder because of Splinter.
Yes, but it's like, again, like he just like makes a joke about it. He's like, he doesn't even...
You know what? I would too.
Oh, yeah, my gosh, even like Splinter, it's like he's just like bleeding and like he's got like scuff marks on him. Like it's so gross looking.
He got beaten in that movie.
It's amazing. It's like, this is why I always like... I saw the trailers for that new Ninja Turtles movie that came out a couple of years ago. Where I appreciated that they were voiced by like actual like children and teenagers for once, but it was like I just saw like it was them. They were like, it was so like goofy kids, goofy jokes, and like all these like crazy characters that are like mutants that they're fighting. I'm like,
it feels very
not for me.
It feels very like those new Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, like the really. See, that's the new tactic now that producers are doing. It's like, because, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, it was like, it's CGI, and it's like, oh, we can put less frames into it and make it stylistic, and it's like, everyone's trying to
here's the thing, it was an actual style that movie.
It was,
now
correct.
A bunch of other, now we got a bunch of producers being like, that's the ticket, right there, lower the frame rate.
We can lower the frame rate, we can do simpler stuff, and like, do things with the colors, and like, oh, it's cheap and we can still make lots of money. So that's the new thing, as opposed to like the product-y sell to advertise toys. That's where the real money is. Now it's like, oh, we can sell them on the movie itself by making the movie super cheap and like really squeaky clean and like marketing. And it's so sterile. I can't take it. Did you see the new Cat in the Hat movie trailer at all?
I avoided that.
You avoided? Oh God, I saw it. And I was liking it at first. I was like, hey, this kind of looks like Ruby in terms of animation, which... I hurt myself for saying that. But then as I got more into it, I was like, oh no, this looks like crap. So here's a fun fact. You were mentioning, we were talking about this. We made the joke about the pizza sponsorship, and you were even saying, well, gee, why? I bet all the pizza places were just jumping onto this movie. Likewise, same way as like. Nobody really wanted to produce this movie. No one wanted to put the effort into it until New Line picked it up. They actually approached Pizza Hut, like the big pizza chain, to like do a sponsorship for this movie. They did not want it, and so they went over to like that's I think where Domino's came into play, because we see the Domino's pizza box in the movie.
Yeah,
I think a couple times actually.
You see it like 3 times,
and then suddenly. Pizza Hut is like, we'll do a tie-in for the VHS release. So then Pizza Hut, I don't know if I had the VHS tape as a kid. I don't know if I still have it around. There is like a big Pizza Hut ad at the beginning of the.
They realize that Domino's Pizza.
They realize their mistake. Like, we want that money. There's money. There's money with this. Ooh, it's so weird that it was relegated to that.
I love the Domino's. Just like, yeah, we're in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Pizza Hut, you're in Turtles DMs, but I'm in Turtles bed.
Do you have any last thoughts at all?
Movie good, sequel okay, threequel dumb, cartoon.
The animated movie's okay. I kind of dig the art style of that. Did you?
I love the animated movie.
Did you ever see the? I don't think that movie did very well, so they just kind of went under eventually, like most animation studios do.
Yeah.
They actually pitched to Nintendo a Legend of Zelda movie. Did you ever see that at all?
I saw a concept trailer for it.
Looks so cool, doesn't it? And Nintendo was like, no.
We all set?
Yeah, we're all set. Join us next time when we talk about
nondescript pizza location.
No!
Nondescript pizza location.
No, when we talk about
nondescript pizza location.
All of this is
really
getting
good.
censored. None of this is making the fun.
He's gonna censor it because he's trying to silence the freedom of speech.
The entire video is deleted now.
You can't do this.
I'm gonna crush you in the garbage truck.
No, are you gonna say oops too?
Oops. Okay, good. You are. I forgot I could flip these. That's an ability I have. That's a ninjutsu art I picked up, actually.
Don't say that. We didn't go to ninja school. I went to college with you. Not that.
Can anything else go horribly wrong?
And the plane crashes into the basement.